Yontif. We would like to, Bez Hashem, continue our Shiurim back from Taharat Mishpacha. Today, Bez Hashem, Erev Achashal Pesach, I would like to discuss already topics which we discussed. Just bring it all together. We discussed many times about Shemiras Taharat Mishpacha, the Klal Yisrael was Shomer in מצרים. I would like to put them all together in one place. Okay, Bez Hashem, to get a full picture. It says in Talmud Yo, Perek Zayin, Man Ishtana Mitzrayim Mikol Medinas Ha'olam. What was the Mitzrayim different than all the Medinas from all the world, all the countries in the world? Kulam Shenechnesu Yisrael Teichan. The Klal Yisrael had to go through it, and they suffered the Klal Yisrael of all the makas and everything. What were they different? What were they deserving of all that? L'chatchila, the Eibusha chose them to be an example. Mitzrayim was the shoylet in the whole world. They were the control of the whole world. They were the kingdom from the whole world. Everyone was under them. They were the strongest country, and they were the biggest Baalei Averis. Vayishman Vayiva, from all the good, I guess, all the power, they went the wrong way. They were dirty from all the many Averis. You don't have a nation in the world which was infested, which was shut off with bad stuff. Things which aren't appropriate to do. They were chashid and kshafim. They were full of zima. They were shut off bezima. And old bad maisim. There was no other country that was close to how bad Mitzrayim was. And that was the worst country in the world. It was the strongest country, the most powerful country, and that's why Hashem chose them. Because they did the worst stuff. That's why Mitzrayim came to color through them. It really, all the Averis, they were worth it to be punished. Hashem wanted to use them for His name in the world, so He brought Klal Yisrael into them like that. He could be in the Skadish Shmoi al Yideihem, not just to punish them. If they have to get punished, we should use them. If you use that opportunity to make His name great in the world, the enemy is not going to listen to Him, but at least in this way, that the punishment is going to bring out the Gadlus Hashem. Now we understand the famous Chazal. It says in the Pasuk Shirim, Gan Noel Achis Echala, Klal Yisrael, the women were like a Gan Noel, a lacked Gan, Achis Echala, Klal Yisrael. Gal Noel Mayim Chasim. They were like a well which was Chasim, which was lacked. Chazal said this, that in the schus of four things, Klal Yisrael were nigel from Mitzrayim. And one of them is the nifritzi ba'arayis. They weren't nifrits, they weren't pirates in arayis, they weren't chashad in arayis. Why? Because it says Gam Noel Achesichala. The Klal Yisrael's chorim were Elias chorim, Gal Noel Maim Chasim Eli Absulis. That comes Klal Yisrael, the Zcharim, Psulis were nizer in Arayas, they were not nichshel in Arayas, and they held themselves to Kedusha. And Teidel Chazal tell you, Shari Achasi, there was only one. Chazal said that Pirsim HaKosef, there was one. Viציאת ben Isha Yisraelis, the Torah is Mefarsim, that there was a song that wasn't acting appropriate, and he was Mekal Shem Hashem, and the Torah says it's ben Isha Yisraelis, Shloim is Bas Divri. And the Torah said who it was. It means to say that when the Torah expressing one, it means to say that was the only one. We don't find anything else. The Torah wasn't trying to hide. And the one that was, the Torah expressed. So there was one lady that was Nichshel. The rest were Kaddish V'Torah, the Zcharim, the Kevis. And that's chus, that they weren't Nichshel by Rayas, Klal Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim. And we find also the pasuk goes on and it says over there in Shir Hashirim Perek Daled, Gan Nolachis, they call it Gal Nola Mayin Chosim Shulchayich Pardes Remoinim. Klal Yisrael is like a paradise, like a garden full of different types of fruits of Remoinim, which give out Remoinim, Imprima Godim, different types of Peres, Kfarim, Remoinim, all different types of Psalm. Rashi says over there, paradise, Shulchayich. Shulchayich means like it's the water. Klal Yisrael is like a paradise which has Shulchayich is like a system that waters the paradise. What's the mashal of the system that waters our paradise, our garden, which gives out fruit? It's called Shulchayich. And Rashi says that's a mashal of dam nidis that comes from the low woman. That paradise in Moinim is like a paradise of Moinim, excellent fruit. And what's the mashal? Rashi says that Klal Yisrael lacks them just like a fruit field is locked and no one should come in and steal from it. So to Bnei Yisrael, the Shulchayich of Bnei Yisrael, this that they give out, Damnidus is also locked. It's locked because they're not niskak lebelayim. They don't have relations with their wife. There's a time of Zayin Nikim and time of whatever has to be done at that time that they lock themselves up and they don't have relations with their husbands. And this what Pasuk goes on, that through this Shulchayich Pardes Remoinim, through what they are like a paradise which is locked, and the water which waters the paradise no one can get to, and through that gives them bracha, hatzlacha. They have children. They give it all the bracha, parnasa. Everything comes in the schus of that they're locked up and they don't have relations with their husband. That's why they're Shulchayich Pardes Remoinim. It's like a beautiful. Again, Shulchayich is a water system which waters the paradise, and just like the paradise is locked, they're locked. Meaning to say that they water their trees, that the bracha comes in the schus that they hold themselves in the kedusha, and that's how all the fruit, the children, the parnas, and everything gets kebenched, gets watered through their kedusha. And amazing. And it says like this. So it says that all different types of some are going to grow kinomoin, atzalivoinim, or bahalas, or shabbasamim, mayin, ganim, be'er mayim, chaim. It's a meal for the mikvah. Afterwards, they go to the mikvah, be'er mayim, chaim. Nezlin, just like you have a live water well that keeps on giving water. V'nezlin and levonin. Basically, it's a fabulous, kingly garden of fruits and vegetables and psalmim and smells and everything, with a live well, keep constantly giving it water. What does it say? And again, they go to the mikveh. After they go to the mikveh, mayin gam be'er mayim chaim. They go to the be'er mayim chaim. Urei tzafan. It says the pasuk says urei tzafan from tzafan shminas oyer. Iboy teiman from Marav side they should come. Fichi gani should give. Usually some of the gan should give its some now is time, now that Imaberim and Chaim went to the mikveh, it's time that everyone can come and enjoy the paradise, enjoy it, it's kishmak. Yovi doidi legane, now the doidi can come to his gan, be yoichel pirigadov, and he can enjoy the pirigadov, he can enjoy his wife, he can enjoy his family, and he can enjoy everything. So Rashi says, what is this? Uru tzafan, which means from tzafan, should come from Marav. Rashi says, because everything is so geschmack, the paradise is so beautiful, everyone should come and enjoy it. What's the mashal? The mashal is that the Klal Yisrael in the Skala is going to come together from all the parts of Golis. And the Goyim are going to bring them for Matana to Yerushalayim, and they come for Oil Regel, Me'adam, Regolim, Yisrael. Everyone's going to come to the Beis HaMikdash. Yobi Doig the Legana, the Boishim should come to his Beis HaMikdash. Obviously, what the Hemshech of the Psukim is telling you that in the schus that the Klal Yisrael in Golus is shomer the B'Kedusha and B'Tahira, and Kalas of Mitzrayim was showing themselves B'Kedusha and B'Tahira, and they weren't nichshel and rayas with other rayas, and they even with their wives they were showing nidus, Taras המשפחה, and everything was benched. The kids were benched, and everything was benched. Everything got ready. Everything was ready for the Beis Hamikdash. Now it's time. They're ready to go to the Beis Hamikdash. Such kids, such parents are ready to be brought to the Beis Hamikdash. Come, Shalosh Regalim. Everyone should come to the biggest madrega. That's what this prepares us. This prepares us for the ultimate. In Galus, yes, in Galus we prepare ourselves for the Beis Hamikdash. Not when we come to the Beis Hamikdash, then we'll get prepared. No, in Galus, through Shmiras Taharas and Mishpacha, we prepare ourselves, we prepare our families to be ready to be brought to the Beis Hamikdash. And that's what the Klal Yisrael did in the Memte Shar Tumah, in Mitzrayim, when Nichshol Avodah Zarah, but they held themselves strong with Taharas HaMishpacha. They held themselves strong with Nifritz B'Arayis. That gave the power for the children to be built the proper way, and they were Besam, and they were Rimonim, they were all different types of Shemakas Adam. They were ready for Mashiach. They built a generation in the Memte Shar Tumah by acting with Kedusha. They built a generation which was ready to be Kabel Pnei Hashem in the Beis Hamikdash. Shalosh Regalim Liris Ispanai. This is what the Baruch wants to see. This is who the Baruch wants to connect to. He wants to connect to kids that came from Taharas HaMishpacha. That's what is happening over here. That's what happened in Mitzrayim. That's what Shlomo Melech is telling us. And the Tanya Vayol goes on. We mentioned the Tanya Vayol before that Klal Yisrael was that Mitzrayim was Shtuf Mezumah, that was the worst nation. That's why the Klal Yisrael went there, and because the Eibusher wanted to bring as Shemoy Agodah, and it says all the Makkos were connected with the Dam Tzadek. Everything was something the Mitzrayim did wrong. Klal Yisrael came and every one of the Makkos are mechuven connected something which Mitzrayim did wrong. And Zelu was there, the Baruch was managed them. So what's down? The first Makkah, why did the first Makkah come? We know the first Makkah comes. It's Pashut why the first Makkah came. Because Lo Nigal Yisrael only was Nigal Yisrael, because they were Nifritz B'Arayis. And Kedushas Beis Yisrael was the Ikis Siva for the Gula. And that's what prepared them for the Gula, like we just said. And that's why the first Makkah was a Makkah Stam. Because why did it come? Because Klal Yisrael was being toivel in the mikvahs for all different types of Thomas Tashmish even. Not only Thomas Nidas, Thomas Tashmish. But Thomas Nidas, but Yisrael toivels min Nida, min Tash Shemita. And what did Mitzrayim do? Mitzrayim shot them in the mikvahs. They shot them. They didn't let them. Didn't want they should be in Israel, but they should have a lot of children. And because of that, the Mesiras Nefesh of Klal Yisrael had, the Rebbeinu Shalom was Marba Klal Yisrael. I guess they were Mesiras Nefesh to go to the mikveh, find the mikveh, and they didn't go when they couldn't have gone. But whatever it was there, they managed to. They managed to go to the mikveh, to be with their husbands, but that pain that they went through, the Gzeirus on the mikveh, what they went through Mitzrayim, the Baruch Shalom paid back to Mitzrayim with a Makkah Stam. That's how it started. To show this is where it starts. This is where everything starts. This is where we're going out. The Schus, the Taharas HaMishpacha. And those Nashim that were Mesiras Nefesh to go to the mikveh, what did they do? They went into the field. Their husbands were working hard. And they went. Everyone knows the Gemara and cited Daf Yudalef from the base, and they would go to the well and take out water, and Hashem would make a nest. They have water and fish and everything. Prepare the fish, come to and clean their. They will make hot water and one pot of hot water and one pot of fish. Bring it to their husbands in the field, and they would clean their husbands in the field. They would smear the husbands with cream and feed them and give them what to drink, and they would have relations, and they would have and they would be in this aber in the field, and they would have children. And those children were the children that said by Kriyas Yamsef, Zeh Keilu V'Anveyu, as it states in Chazal. They who saw the Malach, Hashem sent them a Malach to these children that were in the field, and the Malach would take care of them, wash them, and feed them, and everything. It could be it's takas, and it's in schus of because they took care of their husbands. Hashem sent the Malach to take care of their children, and does midah kineged midah, and they did whatever they could do. Once they put the children on the field, they couldn't do anything more. So whatever they did to the husband, Hashem sent a malach to take care of them, to feed them, and to wash them, to take care of them. And then the Mitzrayim tried to kill them, and they got swallowed into the karka. Yeah, and these were and they came in, when they got older. They came in. Because I'll say these were the children that said Zekel Vanveil. So there was a whole situation over here of Mesiras Nefesh, of the woman, of going to the mikveh, of not being pirates by rayas, being Shem Taheret המשפחה, Mesiras Nefesh to go and bear Mayim Chaim, and Mesiras Nefesh to go to their husbands, have relations in the field, which is not a proper place. Bein Hashatayim, find the best place possible, and they took their children. Mesiras Nefesh put them in the field. And the children, Hashem took care of those children which we created such Mesiras Nefesh, just to keep on the legacy of Klal Yisrael, keep on the legacy of the Rebbeinu Shalom Am Hashem. They took him, and those were the children that said Zeh Keilu V'Anveyu, because they saw the Malach, and they saw already Shem in Mitzrayim. And Chazal say, in the night of the Seder, you have to have Arba Kaises, 4 kaises of wine. The Noshim HaMechuyev. Why? They're also part of the nest. And the Rashbam over there says, the Rashbam says that why they were part of the nest is Susam Nigal Yisrael. And Chazal don't end over there. And that's the reason why the kiyur was made from these mirrors that were Nashim used for the relations. And the story keeps on going. And like we said, Bez Hashem, then, that every time a Kohen came into the Beis HaMikdash, she couldn't do the avodah without going to the kiyur and washing himself, remembering him, discussing with Yisrael, that the whole avodah Beis HaMikdash is only because of Mesiras Nefesh of Klal Yisrael. And we said over from the Zohar and the Targum Yonason that this story that the Asa Kir, that they would have relations with the husband, is also connected to Klar and Zohar and the Targum Yonason, that they would go to the mikveh, then have relations with their husbands in the field. And that's part of the whole. That was part of the whole nest. That was part of the whole skus that they were the whole Mesiras Nefesh from the beginning to end. And we will masber a little more. We can't go into all these things in details right now, but just to overview that the mikveh is what's marba ahav v'reis between husband and wife, and to have children to be able to say Zeh Keilu V'Anveyu, to be able to din the Rebbeinu Shalom, there has to be ahav v'reis in the house. And by going to the mikveh and by being Mesiras Nefesh to have relations with their husbands, and being mechazik their husbands, that brought out the most of the children. And that's how they have children which are right to Zeh Keilu V'Anveyu in Mitzrayim, and did not knowing anything, not learning, not knowing mitzvahs. That they didn't have any mitzvahs. They needed to have Dam Pesach and Dam Milah. They didn't have Roy. They were Mem Teshar Tumah. They didn't have it. But this is what created Klal Yisrael. Mesiras Nefesh for Kedushas Yisrael, and in the nation which was Shtufi Zuma, Shtufi Kshofim, the worst of the worst nation in the world, the Manhattan of the world, and the worst of the world, and over there, the Mesiras Nefesh, the hepech was going on, and that's what created that generation that was royalty. Zeh Keilu V'Anveyu went on to Matan Torah to become Am Hashem. We'll end off with this Medrash Shir Hashirim. It says, "Kedai Ha'isik Gederis Erva Atzma Sheb'Schus Nigdei Yisrael." It was enough schus of Gederis Erva that schus tells us should come out of Mitzrayim, and it brings out the pasuk Ano Lachosik Kalam. And the Medrash Shem Bechoi goes on in the Medrash and says, "Le'echad shenaflo Yerusha Amashal Shem Bechoi The Medrash says a bunch of different types of Hashem al derech zayach. No, but everyone is. But this is the Nekuda is the Medrash says a few different ways, but this is the idea. La'echad shenafli la Yerusha, someone that fell on a Yerusha, but Makam Ashra, someone had Yerusha, he had a lot of money, but it was, we'll say it was in a house that turned into a shack, and turned into a dump, a garbage dump, and a lot of valuable things there. But what happened to this shack, a dump? People over the years, people threw all the garbage there. It's not. He says, I have no patience with this. I have nothing. I'm not interested in it. He went and he sold it for a quarter of the price, and that person that bought it went, invested in it, grew. He made beautiful the house. The Yerusha, the money that he found, he took care of it, cleaned it, everything he took care, and he built a beautiful palace. And be able to see a beautiful palace. And this Lakech became very rich. He started walking in the shuk with Avodim, and Moiche starts seeing what's going on, how this person became so rich from Yerusha. Oh, he says, look what I lost, look what I could have had, who could have been with me. And he starts, and same thing with Klal Yisrael, Mitzrayim, they were working hard, Betit, Velovenim, and Mitzrayim looking at how disgusting they are. Look what's going on over here. It's horrible. And I just heard today, Taka, from Abraham Tursky, AJ Tursky, Marshall. He's Mamshel Klal Yisrael to a diamond. What is a diamond? A piece of glass, a dirty glass. It's in the ground, filthy, for thousands of years. Finally, come guy, he sees someone that understands, could see something good, and he sees a piece of glass, but he understands it's a diamond. Not everyone can realize it. What does he do? He cleans it up. There's certain problems where he fixes it up, and then it becomes beautiful. And everybody wants it. That's how Hashem explained. Yes, sometimes we're working with tit, everyone's disgusted from it. It's full of dirt. But if someone understands, if someone stood out on the Neshama and he cleaned us, and Klal Yisrael came to the mikveh with the Golem, the Medrash says, and then Mitzrayim sees, wow, look, we had a nation that was working hard like slaves, like Chamorim, but look at them in the Midbar, 12 Mishvatim, Choyna around the Mishkan, the fire to the heaven. Look what we gave over. And they started screaming. That's what Vahi B'Shalach Pareh. Vahi B'Shalach Pareh, they ran after them. But what is the Medrash going on? The Medrash is going on, Kedei Hoyse, Kedei Hoyse Erva Atzra, the schus of the Erva, was the Gederis Erva, there was Shomer from Erva, was schus, was enough to be Goyal Yisrael. And this, the Medrash says all the Mashalim, how Klal Yisrael something which didn't look valuable, but after they looked valuable, Mitzrayim saw and they started running after us, they wanted us back. Not because what we had in Mitzrayim, because what they saw now. Very big Medrash. What Chazal al is saying is that how does a professional understand that this piece of glass is different than every diamond? You know how they understand that this piece of glass is different than every diamond? Because he understands there's something a little bit different, which the regular naked eye doesn't understand. He understands. The Rebbeinu Shalom understands the cheshivas of arayas. We maybe don't understand. It says that the kanoim peikenboy. It says that a boil aramis, only kanoi can be peikenboy. Not everyone understands the chaymer of arayas. You have to be a professional. If whoever understands that's the difference between a diamond and not a diamond. That's the Kedushas Yisrael. That's the difference. Not everyone understands it. But if you understand it, the Rebbeinu Shalom understands it. And the Rebbeinu Shalom saw that we should be Kedusha, that itself, even in Memphis Shayat Tumah, in a country which is Shtuf Zuma. But that thing showed that we're ready to be Am Hashem. And once we got beautiful, was Vahi B'Shalach Pareh ran after us. But that was too late. The Eibush hoped we should say the Gula Shnei V'Karav Mamash.